is how do we combat Alzheimer's disease. First, we'll start off by telling you what it is. Alzheimer's disease is a disease to the brain that can cause memory, thinking, and behavior problems. It is not a normal part of aging. Although symptoms may vary wildly, one of the most common is forgetfulness.
The signs and symptoms of Alzheimer's disease are getting lost, repeating questions, taking longer than usual to complete daily tasks, mood and personality changes, and increased memory loss and confusion.
Now let's get to the causes. Scientists believe that Alzheimer's disease is caused by genetic, lifestyle, and environmental factors that affect the brain over time.
Alzheimer's disease kills brain cells that disable the brain's ability to communicate with the person's body. Although the reasons for this are unknown.
As for the cures, there is no cure for Alzheimer's disease yet, but there are treatments that may help maintain thinking and speaking skills. And though this may work on some people, it doesn't work on all people, and sometimes it only works for a short amount of time.
We interviewed two people. The first person we interviewed was the caregiver, and that was her sister-in-law. And the one that impacted us the most was this one. The question was, what is the hardest part of caring for someone with Alzheimer's disease? She answered, the hardest part, it is very sad, because they aren't the person you used to know. It is as if you're meeting a complete stranger. And the second interview did with my physician, and he knew a lot about it. And it was Dr. George Conover. So we asked him 3 questions, and it was, how is Alzheimer's disease diagnosed? What treatment can you offer patients who have Alzheimer's? And in your professional opinion, do you believe a cure for Alzheimer's disease will be discovered in the next 20 years? And he answered it on here.
So, the first question, how do you diagnose it? It is really based on symptoms. That's technically diagnosed. So, basically, that's issues with the way our memories work and the way we figure out simple problems. And we have batteries of tests that we do. That means like mini mental status exams, which are a number of questions we can ask people in a relatively short period of time, and the lower the score, the more likely they are to have it. Treatment is not very good. There are some medicines that are available. They tend to have limited effectiveness, and they tend to cause a lot of side effects. So some people opt to use them, and some people feel worse on them and prefer not to use them. So we basically focus on supporting care, supporting the caregivers, and trying to keep a safe environment.
And in your professional opinion, do you believe there will be a cure for Alzheimer's in your lifetime eventually?
I preface that answer by saying most of what our brains do is extremely poorly understood. So the students in your class probably have a fairly good idea of how a computer works. So we know that what a processor does, and we know how coding happens, and we know how we can store it magnetically on a hard drive. And although I can't sit down and build you a microprocessor, I know what a microprocessor does. So when you talk about how the brain works, it's like a billion times more complicated than that. And we don't even really know how our brain codes memory, or how it takes these two pieces of information and puts them together. So this may be figured out at some point. It's not going to be figured out in the next 20 years.
And I know what this is kind of like because my grandmother, she's 93, and she has a disease that is diagnosed as dementia. And one time at her birthday, I gave her a card, and it's like her brain resets. She looks down at the card and she says, "Who do I give this to?"
And I said, it's yours. And she opens the card, reads it, and then she puts it back in. And it resets several times. But at the end, she realizes it, and she says, I've said this before, haven't I? And I said, yeah, once or twice. But it's like she feels bad for me because I have to go through that with her. But I feel bad for her because she's the one living with dementia.
Our answer is, as of right now, there is no cure for Alzheimer's disease, but we as a group believe that someday there will be a cure. The answer lies in the research and technology.
Okay. So you mentioned that there are some treatments for Alzheimer's. Can you give me an idea of what some of them are?
Just medication.
Yeah.
Medications that can
Maybe like help every day.
maybe
Medications
like pain relievers.
Yeah,
stuff
kind of
like that.
Stuff to like help with you, like whenever you get headaches, you have to take like Tylenol and stuff.
And sometimes it's like people that can like help them remember to do stuff.
So I noticed that you did 2 interviews. You talked to 2 different people. Where did you do some of your other research?
Online.
Online and
.org websites.
we did some with, like we did the interviews that we got. Like my Renee was she was the caregiver, and she also gave us like some facts about that.
So can you just tell me a little bit about each of your involvement in this project, and what each of you did or how you contributed?
Well, I researched like what it was, like me and my partners, we each partner. So we researched like what it was and like the signs and symptoms of it. Me and David, we did causes. We looked up what causes Alzheimer's to occur in a person.
Yeah. Me and Nick, we did the cures. We researched all the stuff that could like potentially help treat Alzheimer's.
Me and him, we did on the May, and her sister-in-law was the one with Alzheimer's. So we did that, and I did my physician because he knew a lot about it. And we also like all kind of glued it on and like that. Oh yeah, there was a song that Glenn Canville sang that I'm not gonna miss you. He had Alzheimer's as a singer.
In your research, was there anything that surprised you? Something you didn't know?
That some people die of it. Like some people can die of Alzheimer's. I didn't know about seizures. Like that you could get seizures. I didn't know it was a big impact in their lives. Like I didn't think it was that big.
I knew it was memory loss, but I didn't know that you could forget to do the basic stuff like breathing
Yes.
and swallowing.
Yeah. Whenever
And I
they
didn't
were,
know like that happens here.
I thought it was just like they forgot like to go
It's just
somewhere,
like they forgot.
but it's like their brain forgets to tell their heart to do something like that.
It surprised me because like somebody has to go with them to make sure they don't like wander off and forget that.
I didn't know that it actually killed brain cells as somebody has Alzheimer's.
Did you guys share your project with anyone else?
Yes, with one of our teachers,
And their students.
and we were gonna and we practiced a few times with our coach, and we were gonna share it with a 4th grade teacher, but we had a snow day, so we're gonna do it when we get back.
I'm good? Thank you, guys.